Herman, we were talking pre-show, and you said something really funny. And you said poor people shouldn't have sex.
Poor people shouldn't have sex.
Okay, you gotta explain that.
Okay, so I was doing a mastermind with other fellow entrepreneurs of mine, and when we think about what it really takes in these United States to raise a family and how expensive it has gotten, and when we really focus on self-improvement, you having sex and you're making $10 an hour is irresponsible of you, because it's most likely unprotected sex, right? You're probably going to get somebody pregnant, and now you have to figure out how to raise a family on $10, $15 an hour, right? And that's not responsible of you. I think it's very important that we need to work on ourselves, build ourselves up, especially, and when I say this, you know who I'm thinking about? I'm actually thinking about men. I'm not even talking about women. For us to be responsible men before we go put ourselves in other people and procreate and continue the perpetual poverty that happens when we are irresponsible with ourselves and with our bodies.
Well, now that you explain it, that makes sense, because it is a matter of responsibility, right? I mean, it's about being responsible. I've got adult children. My kids are 24 and 22, right. And neither of them are married, and neither of them are dating right now. But yeah, I understand that. Like, they're not poor in the sense that we're using that term pejoratively, but yeah, it would not be responsible for anybody in a position financially
they can't take care of themselves.
Yeah. But I think about, man, when my wife and I got married, we got married young. I was 20 and she was 19.
Right.
And we were very young. And I think my first job, and this is in the mid 90s, I made $328 a week. That was my job, and she wasn't working, and of course she had to go get a part-time job. And I think our first year of marriage, we made $11,000 on our tax return. And I'm thinking,
kidding me.
How did we? Like, I don't know how we did it. 95, living in Atlanta, because we're from here, but I moved to Atlanta, and I'm thinking, how did we?
You can't even imagine that, right? Living on $11,000 for two people.
Crazy.
No, that's wild, bro.
I do remember because I know you're a financial guy, so you'll appreciate this. We didn't have a plan. We were very young. We moved to Atlanta, like a different state. We got married, and I remember that during that first 2 or 3 months, having this realization, like, holy crap, I don't have enough money to pay the bills. I can't pay for everything. And I remember, and I'm not an emotional person, and I don't cry, but I remember laying on the couch crying, going, how do I do this? But we made it. We figured it out. And here we are.
How long you been married now?
It's 29 years. It'll be 30 years next year, man.
Congratulations. 30 years.
And I don't feel old enough to have know people for 30 years.
30 years,
be married
married for 30 years. Wow, congratulations, bro.
Now, you're a devoted husband and father.
Yes, I celebrated 11 years in August with my beautiful wife, Janelle. She gave me 2 amazing daughters, Bella Sloan and Olivia Monroe.
That's the name of your business.
And that's the name of my first business, yes, Bella Sloan Enterprises.
I was going to ask where Bella Sloan came from. Because that's it doesn't seem to have anything to do with finances.
Right, at all, right,
Because Bella Sloan Academy, I think that teaches like how to do hair. It sounds like
you know what? Yeah, I can see that.
What is it? What's it called when you go to
beauty school?
Beautician school, whatever that is. That's Bella Sloan Academy sounds like a beautician school.
Yeah.
No offense to your company, but that, because I didn't know, it was like, but that's your. Now you're a finance guy.
Yeah.
From Philly.
Yep.
Parents are from Haiti. Which is why your Instagram handle is Haitian_CEO.
Yep.
So follow him, Haitian_CEO. By the way, I guess I should tell everybody who we're talking to. This is Herman Dolce, and he is the founder of Bella Sloan Academy and Bella Sloan Enterprises. He's also he runs something called the Blueprint Foundation, which is a nonprofit that promotes financial literacy. So in today's show, we're going to be talking a lot about financial literacy, which is why we talk about how poor people shouldn't be having sex.
Right.
So I don't know if there's a lot of poor people listening to this show, but if you are, keep it zipped, keep it together. Once you figure out your finances, then it's time to have some fun and have some kids.
Fun and games. Fun and games. Yes.
So here we go. So let's talk about that. How did you said in your in the notes that my team gave to me, your financial freedom literacy started in 2017, which is not that long ago.
Not that long ago, yeah.
So what were you doing before that?
So before that, I was a social worker by trade. Used to work with truant students. Used to do, then I got my master's degree and I transferred into doing mobile therapy. So I used to do therapy for children in their home. And I had a master's degree, bro, and I was making 40 grand a year. To your 11,000 story, and I was making 40 grand a year alone. And I was like, this can't be it. Because after taxes, it was like 27.5, and it wasn't happening. I was actually still living at home. And I got married, moved in with my wife. She went and got her degree in nursing, and then got pregnant. We went on our baby moon to Italy and had a blast, came back home. And I was like, this was amazing. But my wife's about to have a baby and I can't take off because we used the 2 weeks on the baby moon. And my brother said an amazing line. I don't know where he got it from, but he's like, unless you own your own, you'll never be free. So once he said that to me, I was like, well, what business? I'm not going to start
Own your home?
Huh?
What do you say? Own your home?
Own your own, meaning own your own business.
Gotcha.
Or unless you own your own, you'll never be free.
Right.
So he's like, that credit thing you always do for free, before it became real popular on the internet. He's like, you should like charge people for that. And I was like, no, like people really need that. Like I'll help people out. He was like, they're going to pay somebody. They might as well pay you. And that was the birth of me figuring out something. I was like, oh, okay, well, I got 10 of my friends and I was like, hey, I'll fix your credit for free. And I use those receipts because success has receipts. That's another tagline I have.
I saw the shirt.
Yeah.
Success has receipts.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I started posting it and got my first clientele. And then went on YouTube University, diving deep into the craft that I had, tripped into business funding. And then that's when my life really changed, when I took that information and started teaching people and helping them get funding for their businesses. Because more than 80% of businesses fail because they don't have access to capital. So when I started teaching people how to get access to capital or actually funding them myself, that's when Bella Sloan Enterprises went absolutely crazy. So
was your story because you were helping people fix their credit and kind of, did you have some credit issues that you figured out how to work through?
Absolutely. So it's always experience. So me and my father, we have the same name. He's Herman Sr., I'm Herman Jr. And I remember when I was getting my first duplex, my first property, he was like, yeah, you got this thing on your credit. I was like, what are you talking about? And come to find out, my dad's information was on my credit report because these reporting agencies, they make mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
So I called them up, wrote the letters. I showed them, I was like, hey, it's not possible that I have this American Express that is 26 years old. I'm 27, so it can't be mine. So you send them the evidence.
Started early.
Yeah, it started early. You send them the evidence. It's like, oh yeah, this can't be yours. They deleted it. Credit scores went up, and I got my first investment property. So I learned very early that disputing negative items on your credit report that are not factually true, just contact them. Sometimes it's a back and forth, but that was the first steps of me freeing myself.
So it really wasn't. It wasn't that you had debt that you couldn't pay or that you had bad credit. You just had improperly reporting
items.
You figured out how to get out of it.
Exactly.
Was that fairly simple? Just call
Yeah, that was fairly simple back then before the internet made everything really popular. Now millions of letters are sent, and now they have automations that help with that or hurt with that. But back then you could just make a phone call and send a letter, and it was a lot simpler 10 years ago.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So I am blessed and proud of the fact that I have great credit. Like I've never had any late payments. I've never done that. Everything's been fine. But I understand and realize that that's not everybody's
journey,
story.
Right.
I mean, everybody has problems that sometimes are their fault, sometimes it's not their fault. I mean, a lot of times business, because you help with business funding, so a lot of times the business can go sideways and it's not the person's fault, but it ends up affecting their credit. Because I know one of the things you teach is how to get things like American Express Platinum in a business name, but unless I'm wrong, that's still negative stuff reports to the personal, even though it's a business card, right?
Absolutely.
So like there could be some things that go bad as a business owner. So what are some things that we need to understand about credit reporting that will help us, whether it's personal or business financing?
So definitely on the business side, I want to touch on that. When you get funding in the business name, and this is why it's my passion, I love teaching about it, the limits and the lines that you get on the business side are much higher than the personal side. So like my business credit cards are like 20, 30, 40, 50 grand on the business side because banks understand that businesses need more access to capital. On the personal side, my cards are 10, 15,000. The really, really old ones are like 20 grand. But they have to be really old for me to get that. The other benefit is that these business credit cards, I can max out the credit cards. They won't hurt my personal because the business credit cards do not report to the personal, 99% of them. So I have a an American Express business credit card, Bella Sloan Enterprises, right? $30,000 limit. I can max it out, do whatever I need to do. It's not going to report to my personal because, as you know, if you max out your cards over 30%, your score starts to drop. So that's the benefit of it. Now, as you were saying earlier, if I default on the credit card, if I don't pay it off, 90 days, 120 days, they charge it off, and then it reports to my personal because American Express wants their money.
Yeah. So that I think that's one of the secrets that a lot of people don't understand is getting these cards in your business name.
Yeah.
It's easier to do than most people think.
Exactly.
I mean, that's your business.
And
You
that's
show
my
people
business.
how to do that. But what people don't also understand is that there's most cards have you put your social security number to apply for it.
Correct.
And it only reports to your credit if there's a negative action.
Yes.
Right.
A charge off. So you could be late on it. It's most likely 99%. It's not going to show up on your personal. Only when you default on it, it shows up on your personal.
Are there business credit cards that are simply issued in the EIN and have no connection to the personal?
Yes,
social?
absolutely. The same lenders we're talking about, American Express, Chase, they're called corporate credit cards. So business credit cards, you're personally guaranteeing it, where you're giving your social and your EIN. Now, for your corporate credit cards, where it's EIN only, yes, you can get those too, but those require for your business to be older, for you to have revenue, and for your business to actually have a business credit score that's not like, you have a FICO score. There's something called a paydex score. That's a credit score of the business itself. So now that the business is old enough, it's made money, has its own credit score, now you don't need to personally guarantee it. Jeff Bezos, he's not the CEO of Amazon anymore, but Amazon can go get credit anytime it wants because it has revenue. It's an older business. It had its own credit score. No CEO is co-signing for anything over there.
What's the, you may or may not be able to answer this, but what's the best credit card to go get if I want a business or corporate, to use that term, a corporate card not attached to my social? Is there a go-to for that?
I would say the most easiest corporate credit cards to get right now are credit cards called that are given by Fintech banks. These are banks that connect, when you're applying to them online, they ask for the login to your business checking account, right? Then they can't do anything, it's read only. What they do is they see the revenue of the business, and based on the revenue of the business, they're like, you know what? He probably doesn't have good credit, but clearly he knows how to run business because he's making 10, 15, 20 grand a month, 5,000 a month. He's making something. So we'll use that to give him credit. Good banks for that is Divvy, DIVVY. Another one is called Capital on Tap. Those are my two favorite, that they sync to your business checking account and they give you credit based on what revenue your business is doing.
Now, does that credit work as a 30-day payoff, or is it like a limit where you can get up to a limit?
Those are net 30 accounts. So yes, it's like a charge card, like an American Express Platinum. You have to pay it off in full in 30 days. But to a lot of businesses, that floating of 10, 20 grand for 30 days is really important to them to help grow their business. It's a good start for people who have not yet built up their business credit score yet or not making millions yet.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is I just recently learned about this Net 30 business card.
Right.
I didn't really know this. So I bank with a Relay. I don't know if you're familiar with Relay. They're a sponsor of my podcast, which shout out to Relay.
Shout out to Relay.
But they, and by the way, I was a user of Relay and a customer before they started sponsoring me. So I'm a true believer in what they do.
Right.
I had lunch with the founder of Relay just a couple months ago here in Nashville. Great guy.
Okay.
But I asked him when we were having lunch, because I was in the market for, I want a card that is not attached to my social. I have good credit, but I want to graduate.
Yeah.
Because I've got a Platinum, I got a Amex Platinum, I've got a Chase Southwest Visa that's on the business. I've got a third card. I've got a local bank here. I've got a MasterCard, and they're crazy high limits. 150K on one, 88K on another.
Nuts.
I mean, but they're traditional. I just swipe it and I don't have to pay it off.
Right. Revolving.
It's revolving. But I was talking to him over lunch and I said, hey, do you guys have a card? He goes, yeah, we're coming out with a card. I said, is it attached to my social? Because these other cards are attached to my social. And he goes, no, not at all. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I did the application, they approved me and I got it. But then I found out, it's only 30 days. They will sweep my OpEx account every 30 days, which is not a problem, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it is a good float tool.
It's a good float tool.
Yeah, so Divvy, and what else is it?
Divvy and Capital on Tap.
Capital on Tap.
Yep.
How did you learn about this stuff?
YouTube University.
Like legit?
Legit going on YouTube and finding this information. Jason, I think maybe 50 to 60% of the things that you and I teach, people could sit down and find it on YouTube and Google it. I tell people you're going to pay with your time or you're going to pay with your money. Pay with your time means you're going to research it, ChatGPT, YouTube University, and figure it out. Or you're going to pay with your money. You're going to sit down for consultation for people who have been there, who are experts at it. So I did it both ways, YouTube University, and I got business coaches, business consultants, because when I started going down this space, in order for me to be better to my clients, I had to have coaches to teach me. If your mentor does not have a mentor, that's a problem.
Let's take a quick break to thank our amazing sponsors for making this podcast possible.
As an entrepreneur running multiple businesses, effective communication is critical for me. I've tried all kinds of outreach tools over the years, but none have compared to Dub when it comes to driving real results, and that's DUBB. I was one of Dub's first users. I think it was like 7 years ago when they first launched, and I've been a loyal customer ever since. Dub has completely transformed my prospecting, my client communication strategy, and here's why. Dub makes it simple to record personal video messages and share them across email, SMS, social media, and more. And this brings back the face-to-face connection that's missing from most digital outreach. And what happens is my prospects instantly feel more engaged when they can put my face to my name. I end up building a stronger relationship faster by incorporating these video messaging into my workflow. Dub also provides tracking and analytics so I can see exactly who engages with my videos and how they respond to them. Their automation and their CRM features help me nurture leads and close more deals. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, right, as entrepreneurs. So after using Dub for years, I absolutely can't recommend them enough. I mean, Ruben, those guys over there are phenomenal. I love Darius. They're all great guys. It's become an invaluable tool that I depend upon to run my businesses efficiently. And if you want to boost your outreach and see amazing results like I have, head over to therealjasonduncan.com/dub. That's DUBB, and you can try it completely for free. No credit card required. You get the first 50% off your first 2 months, by the way, if you use my link. You need to take your prospecting to the next level with video messaging from Dub. They're my go-to sales communication platform for nearly 7 years and counting. Go to therealjasonduncan.com/dub. Try it for free, no credit card required, and you'll get 50% off your first 2 months as well.
Thanks for listening to our sponsors. Now, back to the show.
So you have 2,000 people in your program right now, your community, right?
Monthly subscriber, yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Congrats,
of people,
dude.
Thank you so much.
So how long did it take you to go from launch to 2,000?
It took 43 years. That's what I like to tell people who see those type of numbers, because you know they're going to do the math. Times $50. Oh my God. That took 43 years. So what I mean by that is, Bella Sloan Enterprises started 8 years ago, but let's just say it took 8 years to do that. It took time for me to build my brand, because people have to know, like, and trust you before they give you any money. One of my mentors, Myron Golden, he says that—
I love Myron.
Myron. So you know,
I've never met him. I've tried to get him on the show, and I can't get him.
That's hard. That's gonna be hard. He says you must be transformational before you become transactional. So you went to the Instagram, you went to the YouTube page. I love giving a lot of information for free, just giving out the information. I built the trust factor, and with the free information I give, people got a $10,000, $15,000 credit card. They got a collection off their credit report watching the YouTube videos. So guess what they're gonna say next to me, Jason? You know what? Let me give him $50. Let me pay for his mastermind. That's $200 in Philadelphia. They come up to see me at, and we're having a conference. So it took a while to build that know, like, and trust factor. So, and Bella Sloan Academy is only a year old in November. It's not even that old. So
Wow.
I launched it Black Friday last year, and I was like, hey guys, I'm doing a Black Friday sale. It's only $50 a month. We meet every single Wednesday. There's no other coach doing that. Pull up. 1,000 people signed up in a day.
1,000 in a day.
People. And we've just been continuing to grow it by being consistent, by giving value to people, and doing something amazing.
So 1,000 in a day is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you attribute that to the fact that you have such a strong Instagram following? Because you got like 170,000 followers. I don't know what the number is. It's
Yeah,
pretty high.
170,000. So yes, Definitely the strong Instagram following. We have a large following on YouTube also. That's at 40,000. A lot of word of mouth. And to be quite frank, I have an amazing CEO. As you know this, systems 10x your business. So I have amazing systems that really help contribute to the workflow of my business. I'll just give a quick gem real quick. There's a app and a plugin that I use called Many Chats, MANY Chats. So when I'm on Instagram Live or I just post a video, the top 10 ways to remove collections off your credit report. If you want that ebook, comment the word ebook below. Once a follower or somebody who watches videos comments the word ebook, the ManyChat automatically sends them a DM with the link to the ebook. And in the ebook is all the wonderful information and a link to join my mentorship if they want to. So it's all about automations and systems that really help scale the business.
ManyChat's a great tool, man.
Amazing tool.
We used to use ManyChat. We just switched over to Go High Level recently.
Yep. Go High Level's amazing.
And they've got their own version of that, and it's a little more complicated than ManyChat.
Definitely need I literally probably 90 days ago, shout out to my guy Runway, who runs Go High Level, and he's like, hey, we could take it to the next level with ManyChat. But you're right, you have to have someone doing that for you.
We work with a company called Chat Assassins right now, and they got a tech company that they got a tech guy who does all that, and he's great.
And they're in the DMs for you and all that stuff. Yeah. Good.
You can't manage this by yourself.
You can't.
It's difficult to do. But 1,000 people in a day.
A day, it was nuts.
That's like turning on the financial faucet.
Right.
Money in.
Yeah.
All you got to do is show up every Wednesday.
All you got to do is show up every
education.
Wednesday.
So what do you do on these Wednesday calls?
So on the Wednesday call, they're different, right? So the first Wednesday in the month is a welcome call because it's 30 days in a month and all these people sign up throughout the month, but they need a welcome call so that we can show them what's on the platform because we have all the old videos is in there, all the ebooks that we have, all the letters, how to apply for funding, the basic information of those videos we have, they can go watch them. So on the welcome call, we tell them, hey, what's up? Welcome. Here's the team. If you need anything, yada, yada. The second Wednesday is our credit repair call where we have an amazing coach, Regine, who teaches all things credit using the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I have this tagline also, it's called Audit Your Circle, where I grow because I have better people around me than I know. Like I knew credit repair, but then when I ran into Coach Regine and she showed me some things about actually using the laws to help, I was like, listen, I need you to come on my platform every single month. The third Wednesdays a month is called the What Have You Done Lately call. And that's when it's kind of like an accountability call where people can ask me any question when it comes to funding and business. But I'm going to ask you a question first. Hey, Herman, how do I get approved for the $100,000 American Express card I saw you post? Well, the first thing, you can ask me that question, but I'm going to ask you, did you watch the 3 videos that I have about that in the student portal? Have you studied the funding requirements? So I'm going to need to ask you questions too. And then the last call that we have every month, that's the fourth call, is where we have a guest speaker come in every single month to teach something new to the academy, whether it's Airbnb, business consulting, putting primary trade lines on your business, real estate. So it's a different call every single month.
And so
every single week.
And you're not even having to lead every one of those.
I don't have to lead every. I have an amazing coach, Mike, who leads and there's one more call. We have an accountability call the first Monday in the month, but he leads 4 of the 5 calls a month. I just show up once a month.
So before you were doing Bella Sloan Academy, the Bella Sloan Enterprises, which is the overall company, which I want to talk about your structure because I saw an Instagram reel that you did about your structure. You had the whiteboard on your couch, and you were talking about. I want to get into that in a minute.
Okay.
But when Bella Sloan Enterprises, was your service, like the product you were selling, was it like one-on-one coaching? Was it a mastermind group?
No,
or
so Bella Sloan Enterprises, when it first started, was just credit repair, and then it was then it got into business funding. So those were the 2 things that we were doing. What started happening is people started hitting me up and was like, hey, do you teach this? And I kept saying no. And then my friend was like, well, the market is telling you that they want this, create the product. So then I created Bella Sloan Enterprises, and then we got into the coaching space. It first started as a high ticket situation to spend a day with me in Philadelphia. And then we pivoted to low ticket $50 subscription model also. So that's under the umbrella of Bella Sloan Academy.
And it blew your revenue out.
And it blew the revenue out the water.
Golly, man.
It created a whole new revenue stream. We wasn't ready for it. But I have an amazing team that steadied the ship because we literally just built it. It was like, all right, sure, let's just do something. We'll meet with people every week, and it went absolutely crazy.
So is the credit repair, the credit repair market is really fascinating to me. As I said earlier, like luckily and blessedly, I have not had to partake of that. I've not had to partake personally, but I have people in my circles
Right.
that are having to deal with that. And so I pay attention to it. And there's a couple of people online that I follow, you're one of them, about how to do credit repair. And what I find is that this is my perspective. You correct me. Is that unless it's really egregious, you can fix anything with your credit a lot faster than most people think.
Anything can be fixed
Like
on your
bankruptcies,
repossessions.
everything can be completely erased.
Yes.
Through technicalities,
Yes.
following the law.
Yes, correct.
So walk me through an example of that. How that works.
So I'll give you a good one. So here's an easy one. Number one, and we're going to talk how you can use AI to do this. So anybody can do this. You don't even need to hire me. I'm taking money out of my pocket here. But don't quote me on the law. But the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. Did you know that nothing is allowed to be put on your credit report without your permission?
I had no idea.
Right. So it needs to be put on your credit report, your permission. That's number one. Number two, say for instance, you're trying to fix your credit and something gets deleted off your credit report, right? But then every once in a while, it pops back on. You're like, well, how did it pop back on? That's illegal per the Fair Credit Reporting Act. You're supposed to be told in writing 5 days before it gets put back on your credit report so you have an opportunity to fight it. So because a lot of our consumers, our clients don't understand this law, they just take the loss and they're dealing with this bad credit. So I teach people, hey, listen, even I don't know every single Fair Credit Reporting Act when it comes to credit repair. I literally go to ChatGPT or I can use Gemini. Hey, ChatGPT, I was watching Herman on the Jason Duncan show. What is the Fair Credit Reporting Act law that states that nothing can be reinserted on my credit report after it was deleted? It'll spit it back out to you. FCRA law 739_736, and it'll spit out what the law is. Then I'll respond back to ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, can you write a letter to the credit reporting agency TransUnion using this law to dispute this Capital One charge card that came back on my credit report, account number 793. It'll write it out and you just print it out and you mail it in. And that's just round one. You could tell it, hey, write 3 rounds of these letters for me just in case it doesn't come out the first round. Just in case it doesn't come out the first 3 rounds, can you also give me a phone script on how I can dispute it while I'm talking to the credit agency over the phone? Remember, crazy. I said you're going to pay with your time or you're going to pay with your money. You're going to pay me to do it or you're going to take your time to do it.
Listen, $600 a year to pay you to help me walk through this.
Yes.
Do it, people. Sign up. This is easy. This is $50 a month. Come on. You spend more than that on coffee and booze.
Right, a month. Yeah, exactly.
So what about so on the credit repair stuff, let me ask you a hypothetical. So there's a person who had a $300 credit card, $300 limit. I mean, we're talking way low.
Way low.
And they just never paid it. Like charged it up to $300, never paid it. It's with a local bank, and never paid it. And it shows up as a charge off on their credit report.
Right.
Now, first of all, they didn't pay it. I understand that.
We're gonna say that out loud. They did not pay it. Yes.
But what do we like? Is there a way to reverse this in a way that eliminates that black mark on the card?
So what they can do is if it's in charge-off status, it's pretty much done and closed. One of the strategies that we use is called where, by law, everything on your credit report has to be 100% verifiable, 100% accurate. There can be no mistakes. And I'm telling you, Jason, there's always mistakes. So say, for instance, that charge card that's really small. First Premier is one of those cards that are pretty small, right? What I would do is I would scan the credit report, all 3, for inaccuracies. So say, for instance, Experian says First Premier, the date it was opened or issued was October 1st, 2019. But TransUnion says that it was open on February 2nd, 2019. Well, somebody is lying. Somebody has an inaccuracy on their credit report. So what I would do is I would print out both credit profiles. I will circle the dates in red, and I would send a letter to TransUnion. I'd be like, hey, Equifax said that it got open on this date. Per the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you have to be 100% accurate, 100% verifiable. And since it isn't, you have to delete it by law. Here's a Fair Credit Reporting Act. Here's the law right here, subsection 392. You send it to them. And then you send the vice versa letter to TransUnion. Hey, Equifax said this, but you said this. Here's the proof, because you have to give them proof. I circled it out. You have to delete this. So that's how we get off charge-offs, off credit reports.
And does that work? I mean, does that work most of the time?
So 50% of the time it works because the letters that are being read, because millions are being sent, is being read by a system that they have at the credit reporting agency called eOscar. So it's scanning these letters and it just spits out an automated letter. Oh, it's been verified. That's where you have to come with your second round of letter. Well, if it's verified, then my second letter is, well, you have to, by law, you have to tell me what verification steps did you do? Did you contact First Premier? Who did you speak to? Can I get a transcript of that letter, of that phone call? On what date did it happen? So you have to put the pressure on them because they have to give you this information because they're the one reporting it on they're saying you're guilty. Well, you have to prove that I'm guilty. And if you can't prove that I'm guilty, you have to dispute it. And usually the final steps is litigation, actually, because the law is on my side. So I can send them, I go to my small claim court in my county and I'm going to sue Equifax, be like, hey, this is detrimental to my credit. It is hurting me. I'm getting denied credit because of this inaccuracy. I want to sue. Pay the little $100 court fee, you send it off. And 9 times out of 10, when you're at that point, they just want to settle with you. They're like, okay, we'll delete it. Or there's a compensation for them putting negative items on your credit report and not deleting it if they've broken the law.
What does that mean?
So if it's when I would use Exhibit A, if you send me a letter and say, hey, we verified the information, then I send you a letter back and ask you how you verified it and you don't send it back to me, that's Exhibit A and Exhibit B in a court of law. Like, this is detrimental to me. Here's where it becomes punitive. I will purposefully go and apply for another credit card. And what's going to happen? I'm going to get denied. So that's Exhibit B right there. Here's proof that this is detrimental to me because I tried to apply for credit and now I can't get credit because this negative item is being reported by TransUnion inaccurately, I might say, and here's the evidence of it.
So people need to take action. It's going to take time to do this.
It's going to take time because by law, they have 30 days to respond to you. So I know we post the receipts on Instagram all the time. Hey, we got a bankruptcy off, we got a charge off. But what we don't talk about all the time, no, this took 6 months. No, this took 4 months. You need to be patient.
What type of result or outcome does that provide for the person's credit if they had a charge off that ends up getting deleted? What type of bump in the credit score are we talking?
So the algorithm with the numbers that jump up depend on so many other things on your credit report, but a charge-off can easily give you 50 points on your credit report. It can be significant.
Wow.
I've removed collections that have given 100 points, repossessions that have given back 75 points. It really depends. But I know for certain inquiries, they take 1 to 3 points off per inquiry. They have minimal impact, but it's not just the number impact in terms of the points. I like to tell people bad credit costs you money because you have a Toyota Camry, I have a Toyota Camry, you have a 500 credit score, I have a 700 credit score. My Camry is going to cost me $200 per month. Yours is going to cost you $600 per month. So you not investing time and money into getting your credit fixed is literally going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. So when you say I can't afford it or I don't want to do it, you're going to pay for it one way or the other.
Man. Well, I think this is a lesson for all of us. If you've got these credit issues, we need to take the time to go through it. And your academy will walk people through
how to do it. Yeah.
But let's talk about the person who no problems and they just want good funding. They want good funding, whether it's personal or business. What are Like I know what my credit score is because we're in the process of buying a house right now. So we're going through, as a matter of fact, I keep mine frozen all the time, which I think you could probably talk to that.
Yep.
I've kept it frozen for years, and they just called me yesterday, hey, I need you to unfreeze it so we can check. So I know what my credit score is, and I've got a good credit score. But what do we need to pay attention to in order to get funding? Are there tricks or hacks that we can get better rates, better access, et cetera?
So when it comes to, let's just say, credit card funding on the personal and business side, at minimum, you need to be at a 680. But nobody that is watching this podcast is a minimum person, right? So we want you to be at least at 700, got to be in the 700 credit score. On the business side, to get money for your business, the banks like to see what you have done with your personal credit, right? Your credit report is like your adult report card. So, oh, you've had a couple of credit cards over the past couple of years. You've been responsible with them. Oh, you've had a card note. You've never been late with it. Oh, you have student loans. You've done good. Oh, you had a personal loan. You paid it back. Great. That's a good credit profile that shows that, hey, the banks, I want you to think like the banks do. All right, you've done good with your personal. That means more likely than not, you're going to do good on the business side. So that's when you're going to get those higher limit credit cards. But not only does you have to have a good score, you have to have a good profile that we talked about. The third arm of that is having your business structured properly. So you see the name of my business, Bella Sloan Enterprises. I got a good business name. I'm not in a high risk industry such as trucking or real estate. It doesn't say Bella Sloan Trucking. They don't like to give money to people who have that in their title. Number two, I have a real business address, right? It's not my home address. I have a real business phone number. It's not my cell phone number. I have a 1-800 number. I have a real website. I have a real email, info@bellasloanenterprises.com, not bellasloanenterprises@gmail. So the banks are going to look like, oh, he took the time to structure his business properly. He has a real business address. You can get a virtual address or a registered agent if you can't afford a brick and mortar. Now, when I go get funding and people are seeing me have 25, 30, 50,000, 100,000, it's like, well, how's that possible? Here's part two of it. Understanding where these different banks pull from maximizes how much funding you can get. So I know American Express pulls from Experian. I know Navy Federal pulls from TransUnion. I know KeyBank pulls from Equifax. So those different inquiries on different credit reporting agencies, they're always going to give me the max credit card. Because if I got a 25K from American Express and then I went to Navy Federal, guess what? Navy Federal is not going to see the inquiry that I just got. So they don't think I got anything. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to max me out at another 25. Now I got 50. Then I go to an Equifax bank with this key bank. Now I got another 25. Now I've raised $75,000, 0% interest in one day.
So let's talk about that interest thing. And then I do want to get to the business structure because that's more advanced level for the people that are actually watching the show. But can I get a $150,000 0% interest credit card for my business?
Yes, you can get a $150,000 0% interest credit card for your business just from one bank. How that's done, though, is that you have to have a relationship with the bank. So you just can't go online, type, hey, I got credit, I got what Herman said, type it in. Online is going to max out 25, 30K. If you have really good credit and a really good profile, that's what it's going to max out. You need a relationship manager or to have a significant relationship with your banker in order to get that type of money. Like you kind of alluded to when you got the 150,000, you went to the owner and you was like, hey, and because you have a relationship with them, they're going to give you a higher limit. Right. So anybody I'm giving, like, we have great relationship with Chase. I like to call them my business partner. We'll circle back to why I call them my business partner. But I have a relationship with Chase. Great relationship partner with them. And I'll send them people. I'm like, hey, I got a great guy here. He has a great credit profile. And I tell them, hey, open up a bank account with Chase, make a deposit in there, start the relationship, start dating them. They're going to give you the 50,000. But if you just go online and just fill it out, you're going to get 10, 15 grand.
So how do we deal with the fact that, like, my Chase card, I think the interest is 20%. It's crazy. And I carry a balance because I'm a business owner, right? I'm carrying a balance every month.
Right.
And that's a lot of money I'm paying in interest. Every time my accountant sends me my monthly, my P&L and it shows the interest, I'm like, oh, it's
painful.
Killing me. Oh,
right.
I can't believe I paid that much money. I could hire a part-time person for what I'm paying in interest.
Right.
How do we, is there a way to contact Chase and go, hey, give me a 12%, give me 10%? Like, is there a way to do that?
Absolutely. Again, having a relationship with a relationship manager or with Chase, it's a private client. If you have a private client banker, you can definitely negotiate those interest rates. It's rare, though. I don't want to think anybody could just call and everyone's going to get a discount. You have a relationship with them, you can call, you can get a discount. That's number one. Number two, you can also have different relationships with different banks. So what I teach also is, say for instance, I go to Chase, they gave me 12 months, 0% interest, $25,000 credit card. On month 10, month 11, I'm going to look at American Express in the eye, real romantic like, and be like, American Express, you have 0%. Also, once this 12 months runs out, I'm just going to roll that balance into you. Do you have balance transfer? Yes, we have the balance transfer. So I balance the transfer over to them. And now I'm up to 24 months, 0% interest. Guess what happens on month 10 with American Express? I'm going to contact Wells Fargo, Reflect credit card. That one is 21 months, 0% interest. I'm going to roll it over again. So you can play that rolling over game. And part B of it is we are running a business. This is the cost of doing business. You're going to have to pay interest at some point. But having a good business plan, having a good mentor, and having a good business model, being able to service the debt that you're going to incur is part of the business. And the interest is you can write off the interest on the business.
Right. Well, I think that, I'm looking at a couple of credit cards that I've got are the high limit business cards are 18 and I think 22%. Not counting the American Express, but I pay it off every month.
Every month.
Because
It's just
American Express done a great job of training people to do that.
Yes, they have.
Most people don't know you don't have to pay them off every month. They just have trained us like, oh, you have to pay it off. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
But my Chase, and I've got another private card with or a card with a MasterCard with a local bank, 18 and 22%. And I'm thinking, man, like if I could go to a 0% card for a year, that would save me 15 grand.
15 grand.
Easy.
So
how do is there, what's the quick, easy way to do that? And you could tell me there's no quick, easy way, but is there a quick, easy way to do it?
Well, both. There is quick, easy way. If you have good credit, get another 0% interest credit card and just roll the balance over.
Are there fees to do the balance?
So certain banks, there's no fee because they want to take that debt on because they'll gamble that you're going to not pay the debt off by the time the 0% is over. So they'll gamble and there won't be any balance transfer fee. Okay. The max I've ever seen is 3%. Well, they'll charge you 3% of whatever debt you're rolling over to them. They'll charge you that 3% and they'll let you put the debt on their credit card at 0% interest. But because you're saving $15,000 a year on that 1 year, the math is math. Like I'm definitely going to roll that over.
So for somebody like me who wants a business credit card at 0% interest for as long as possible, what's the first place that you would say go apply?
Wells Fargo Reflect credit card.
Wells Fargo Reflect
credit card. Yeah.
I would have never even thought of Wells Fargo.
Right.
Ever.
And that's what the Academy is all about. My job is to go find this information.
And you've done it.
You figured it out. Slap it on a PowerPoint and hey guys, I just found a new bank that does this, and this. Like when we leave today, I'm gonna get your contact with Rally because I didn't know about that one. So it's all about networking, getting this information. Hey guys, here's another no personal guarantee credit card you guys can work on.
All right, now let's take this out of the actual credit game for just a minute and talk business. You started in 2017.
Yeah.
Here we are 8 years later. You're doing a great job. You've built a great business. Your cash flow a year ago just skyrocketed. I mean, so congrats. But you also have learned the game of structure, business structure. Because I watched you do a video about the trust and holding companies. Give us a breakdown of how you have that set up.
So I got a financial advisor because after I started making a certain amount of money, again, had to audit my circle because my parents weren't millionaires. They didn't listen, go to school, get an education, pay your taxes, right? Then I found out, hey, we could play this tax game where I can mitigate my taxes and pay less in taxes legally. And structure is super important. And I want to be able to pass down these assets that I'm collecting to my two beautiful children. So I got my wealth manager, LaVasia Davis, and she's like, all right, well, we got to structure some things. You did a good job structuring the business itself, but you need to protect those assets that the business is accumulating. So we got a trust, right? And then under the trust, we have a holding company. And then under the holding company, I have my different businesses and my nonprofit arm. So Bella Sloan Enterprises, Bella Sloan Academy, my merch line, Success Has Receipts. So all those are different entities, different bank accounts. The money goes to the holding company and then we move it into another account for taxes, operating costs, investments. So the structure of everything that's under the trust is super important so that when I pass on, because I will die, right? It's going to happen. I have a wonderful life insurance policy that'll pay the debt and also become a cash infusion into the trust. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole right there where I'm not going to give my kids $10 million. It's going to be turned into an annuity. They'll get 6 to 10% of that every single year as that money continues to grow within the trust. And I have wonderful attorneys that's going to ensure that they get that money. And then I'm going to teach my children, here's a financial literacy component of it. I'm going to teach my children, hey, all of you have to have life insurance. So when you guys die and when your children die or your spouses die, that money goes into the family trust again. And this is how the Rockefellers do it. It just continues to grow, but we're living off the annuity of the 6 to 10% that the market is giving us. And you'll never have to work again. This is how trust fund babies are created, life insurance.
Exactly. Life insurance is the key, man. If I'd learned life insurance 10 years ago, 20 years ago, holy crap.
Holy crap. Yeah, holy crap.
Man, yeah, I've got a guy that, he's my guy that does all my insurance stuff for me. And I tell him, he does trainings for my mastermind all the time. And he's doing one actually tomorrow. And like people don't understand where you can grow and protect your wealth in life insurance. It's just crazy.
The wildest part about life insurance that I actually learned recently is it's called life insurance, not death insurance. You could use it while you're alive.
Yes.
So for example, talk to your tax professional. Say for instance, a good deal comes through, make a quick 50,000, right? All right, let me go get a policy, put it in a policy. 30, 60 days later, you know what? Let me get 80% of that out. I could borrow against my life insurance policy, make an investment, pay back the policy. I'm my own bank. It's cheap money. It's amazing things that we can learn if we're financially literate and we have great mentors and people to put us in position for that win.
What do you think about taking this to the school system? How do we get this into the kids, man? Kids need to know this.
Listen, this is in the past 18 months has become my passion, because I started to realize my perfect avatar, male, female, 35, 40 years old. And this is brand new information to them, right? I've been doing it for so long, I forgot that I felt like everybody's supposed to know. So, what do you mean you don't know what a FICO score is? What do you mean you don't know that 35% of your credit score is based on late payments, 30% is based on usage? To me, it's second nature. And then I realized something. It wasn't taught in schools. How would they know, right?
Yeah.
So I started to going to colleges. So during the pandemic, Temple University, my alma mater, called me. They was like, hey, I see what you're doing online. We'd love for you to talk to our freshman class online. Absolutely, I would love to do that. And they sent a check. So I was like, I'd definitely love to do that.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Right?
Pay me back.
Yeah, pay me back. Thank you. I got to pay these student loans. So then I realized the passion that I got and the feedback that I got from the students when I just started showing them how they can own their first investment property using their student loan refunds. By the time they're 21, graduating college, they can have easily $250,000 in assets. And it was like blowing their mind. And I showed them how they can house hack and live for free by living in one unit and renting out the other. And it was really blowing their minds. And then I was like, well, that's interesting. Then I was like, well, let's go back even further. Let's start to teach this to juniors and high school students, because as you know, that's when the NIL started to come out, and now they're giving millions of dollars to these high school kids. And that's not that it's dumb, but you're giving millions of dollars to people who are definitely financially literate. So just teaching them, hey, get yourself an LLC, have Gatorade pay the LLC instead of you directly. You're going to save money on taxes just like that. Right? And they're like, what? Because no one's coaching them on that, because of course their parents don't know it. So I was like, you know what? Let's go back even further. Let's go into grade schools. Let's go into kindergartens. And then shameless plug, I wrote 2 children's books, The ABCs of Credit and Bella Builds Business Credit, 2 children's books geared to children who are in kindergarten and first grade to teach them financial literacy at this young age. Why not teach it to them sooner? Why not tell them, hey, your allowance is $1, but put 10 cents away? That habit is going to 10x them when they're 18, 19, 20.
Yeah. Well, I was a school teacher. And school teachers take a lot of crap about, for the school system not teaching financial literacy in schools. And people say, well, why aren't they teaching in schools? Because they don't know.
Because they don't know.
It's not some conspiracy, although it could be. It's not some conspiracy to keep people dumb about money. It's just the teachers themselves don't know. I didn't know. When I was a school teacher, I taught 8th grade American history. I didn't know jack about money.
Right.
I was in debt. I had car payments. I had credit card payments. I had a mortgage.
Right.
And I think I even bought couches on credit. Like I had furniture on credit.
On credit,
because
right.
I didn't know.
I didn't know
any better. And then when I started a business, I still didn't know. And then when I audit your circles, which is something you talk about. My circles started getting better, and I started learning these tricks and these tips. And my financial literacy in the last 5 to 7 years has exploded.
Right.
Really, and if I look at the last 5 years, 3 to 5 years, it's tripled or quadrupled what I've learned. And I think, man, if we could figure out how to take a portion of this that's digestible for middle school kids. I think elementary may be too young to even think about it, but middle school kids, 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade can think about money because they either they're mowing grass or they're raking leaves or they're babysitting. They're doing something to make a little bit of cash, and they can understand it, and especially in high school. Man, Herman, we need to figure out how to get this into kids. Because the financial literacy is killing us.
It's killing us because they don't know. It's hurting us significantly. The national debt, student loan debt, credit card debt, it can all be tied back to us not understanding money and never being taught about it until we're adults and it's too late. Because we're taught so young to get into debt immediately. Yeah. And I like to tell people there's good debt and there's bad debt. Bad debt is going out on Black Friday and buying that flat screen TV. Good debt is taking that same $2,000-$3,000, investing it in your mind in a course and learning something that's going to make you $2,000-$3,000 a month. You take that cash and you go buy a TV with it.
Yeah, I saw you had an Instagram reel that said, "Hey, dear Black Friday, we already have televisions. How about putting groceries on sale?"
Groceries on sale. Inflation is kicking our butts. Yes, I don't care how much money we got. $10 for eggs is crazy. So.
What does the word success mean to you?
Ooh, so interesting question. The old Herman would have connected success to money, things that I have. My wife is healthy. My children are healthy. I'm able to take care as a man. I'm able to put a roof over everyone's head. Pour the spirit into them. Pour them good things into them. FaceTime my kids every day when I'm on the road. To me, I consider that successful. And I try to tell people I'm the richest man in the world because of that. And no one else is. No one has more riches than I do. That's how I count my successes. People count their successes different ways, but my successes cannot be eaten up. They can't be taken away. Money can be taken away from me. I can lose everything tomorrow. What I have in here, though, I can get it back. So I think that's successful. But being able to take care of my close friends and family, I think that is success to me.
By that definition, do you consider yourself successful?
100%. Yes. Definitely a successful person.
So as we close our conversation out today on the show, I want to give you the opportunity to speak directly to the listeners. What piece of advice as a successful entrepreneur would you speak into the lives of someone listening to the show who wants to be a successful entrepreneur but hasn't yet figured that out?
Whether it is entrepreneurship or whether you're a 9-to-5 or whatever it is, right? I want to circle back to something called Audit Your Circle, right? And this is kind of controversial, right? So I remember I used to tell people the first people I fired were my parents because my parents weren't millionaires. And I needed to figure out how to make $1 million and they couldn't teach me. So I had to audit my circle. So I had to connect myself with people who were millionaires. I had to connect myself with people who had great businesses who weren't in debt. So once I put myself around those people and I spent more than 50% of my time with them, whether they're online mentors or people who I paid for my time or my money, that Audit Your Circle was the first level of taking me to the next level. The second level of auditing your circle, unfortunately, are your friends and family, those people who you are close to. Because you know this, tell me the sum of the 5 people you're with, that's basically who you are. So I had to start removing or spending less time with those people and spending more time with people who are more at a better spiritual level than I was, making more money than me, who are happier than me, who redefined what success and happiness was. And it literally changed my life and elevated who I am. So everybody that's listening, audit your circle, the intimate people that you are around. Miss 2-3 summers, I like to tell people. Put your head down and miss 2-3 summers. You'll be amazed what 2028 will look like.
Man, I love it. Well, thank you so much for flying from Philly down to Nashville to be on the show. This has been a fascinating conversation. In the beginning, what I hope to be a great relationship between the two of us, because I think we could do some cool things together and help each other's circles out.
Absolutely.
And man, congrats on your success.
Thank you so much for trusting me on your platform and to speaking to your people. That means a lot to me.
Well, I love it. Thank you. And congrats on your success, man.
Thank you so much.
I mean, having that many people in your community paying you money, showing up,
every single week.
That's
yes.
great, dude.
That's great. Yes.
Most people haven't figured that out yet.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much for
Thank
being
you
on
so
the
much,
show.
Jason.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed or left a review, I mean, what's not to like? I mean, we've given you good content, so just take 3 minutes today and click that like and subscribe button and go leave a review. That's 3 minutes of your time that'll make a huge impact in the way this show gets out to more people. But listen, tune in again next time when I talk with yet another very successful entrepreneur about his or her journey to success. Until then, as always, I am the real Jason Duncan, and Jesus is King.
Thank you for listening to another edition of The Root of All Success with the real Jason Duncan. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, visit therootofallsuccess.com to access the show notes and other helpful resources. Follow Jason on social media at The Real Jason Duncan. See you again next time here on The Root of All Success.